The endless cycle of the modern garden. Welcome back to Earthly Delights, my fellow plant lovers, backyard growers, soil keepers, small farmers, indoor gardeners, and anyone who believes a healthy garden should feel alive, not dependent on bottles, chemicals, and constant rescue. Take a quiet look at your garden today. Maybe you have tomatoes that look a little tired. Maybe your roses are attracting aphids again. Maybe your potted herbs dry out too quickly, or your seedlings seem weak right after transplanting. And if you are like most gardeners, your first thought might be, what should I buy to fix this? A bag of fertilizer, a bottle of pesticide, a new spray, a stronger solution. But over time, that habit becomes a cycle. The plant struggles, we buy something. Pests appear, we buy something else. The soil gets tired, we add another product. And little by little, we stop asking what the garden truly needs. We treat the symptom, but we forget to rebuild the living system underneath. Now here is the surprising part. One of the most useful answers may not be in a garden store at all. It may already be sitting on your windowsill, growing in a pot by your door, or quietly surviving in a dry corner of your yard. Yes, just one aloe vera plant. Most people know aloe vera for soothing sunburns or caring for skin. But gardeners who understand soil, roots, and natural plant health know aloe is much more than that. Inside this humble desert plant is a powerful mix of moisture, minerals, enzymes, natural growth compounds, and protective substances that can help nourish soil, support roots, strengthen weak plants, and even reduce pest pressure. So today, we are going to look at aloe vera, not as a simple houseplant, but as a living garden ally, one that can help you grow with nature instead of constantly fighting against it. And before we begin, subscribe to Earthly Delights so we can keep exploring simple, natural, and practical ways to help your plants grow stronger every season. Part 1. The Secret Life of Soil and the Polysaccharide Matrix. Before we talk about what aloe vera can do for your plants, we have to start where every strong garden truly begins, the soil. Because a healthy plant is never just the result of watering, sunlight, or adding more fertilizer. A healthy plant grows from a living soil system where nutrients are broken down, exchanged, and made available in a form the roots can actually use. And that work is not done by the plant alone. Beneath every tomato, pepper, rose, herb, and houseplant is a hidden world of bacteria, fungi, minerals, moisture, and organic matter. If that underground world is tired, dry, compacted, or lifeless, the plant above it will always struggle, no matter how many products we pour on top. This is where aloe vera shows its first quiet superpower. Inside the thick leaf, the clear gel is mostly water, but the small portion that remains is incredibly valuable. It contains minerals, enzymes, amino acids, and a rich group of complex carbohydrates known as polysaccharides, including compounds like glucomannan and acemannan. To a gardener, these polysaccharides matter because they behave like a natural soil conditioner. They help bind fine particles together, improve the feel of the soil, and support better moisture retention. In a dry, sandy bed, aloe helps the soil hold water longer. In a tired, compacted pot, it encourages a softer, more breathable environment. And when the soil becomes more sponge-like, roots can move, stretch, and search for nutrients with far less stress. So do not think of aloe vera only as a plant treatment. Think of it as a gentle repair tool for the foundation of your garden. If soil is the stomach of the garden, aloe acts almost like a prebiotic, helping create the right conditions for life to return. And that is the beauty of it. A plant that survived the harsh desert carries within it a way to help our gardens hold moisture, rebuild structure, and become alive again. Part 2. The Root Whisperer, rescuing plants from the brink. And once the soil begins to recover, we can look at the next place where aloe vera works its magic. The roots. Every experienced gardener knows the painful sight of transplant shock. You move a healthy seedling into a new bed or a larger pot, hoping it will take off. But the next day, the leaves droop, the stem softens, and the whole plant looks as if it has lost its will to live. In that moment, many people think the plant needs more food. But often, what it really needs is recovery. The tiny root hairs have been disturbed. The plant is not absorbing water properly. Its energy is going into survival, not growth. So instead of pushing it with strong fertilizer, the kinder approach is to help the roots heal. This is the second great gift of aloe vera. It is not simply a fertilizer, It is a biological signal. Aloe gel naturally contains growth-supporting compounds, including plant hormones such as auxins and gibberellins. Auxins are closely connected with root formation and cell expansion, while gibberellins support seed germination and stem development. Along with enzymes and amino acids, these compounds send the plant a message: repair, divide, and grow again. When you use an aloe vera root drench on a weak seedling, a newly transplanted vegetable, or a stressed potted plant, you are not dumping a harsh dose of nitrogen into the soil. You are giving the plant a gentle recovery drink. You are helping the roots rebuild their connection with the soil so the plant can begin feeding itself naturally. And the method is simple enough for any gardener. Take fresh aloe vera gel, blend it smooth, and mix 1 part gel with 10 parts clean water. For a struggling plant, pour about 100 to 200 milliliters around the base where the young roots are trying to settle. Keep the soil slightly moist, not flooded, and let the plant respond at its own pace. That is the secret. Aloe does not force growth. It supports recovery. It whispers to the root system that the danger has passed and it is safe to begin again. Once those roots wake up, the plant can rise with them. Part 3. Feeding the Invisible Army. Microbial symbiosis. Now that we have talked about soil structure and root recovery, let's go deeper into the part of the garden most people never see. The real work in a thriving garden is not done by our hands, watering cans, or tools. It is done by the invisible army living around the roots. Every healthy root zone is filled with billions of microorganisms. These bacteria and fungi break down organic matter, unlock minerals, and turn natural residues into food that plants can absorb. Without them, soil becomes tired, and nutrients stay trapped where roots cannot reach them. But microbes need stable moisture, gentle organic material, and an environment not shocked by harsh chemicals. This is where aloe vera becomes valuable. Aloe gel is soft, water-rich, and easy for beneficial soil bacteria to consume. Instead of giving the plant one sudden spike of synthetic nitrogen, aloe feeds the microbes first, and those microbes slowly feed the plant. Researchers in Texas tested discarded aloe vera shavings as a compost alternative. At first, the aloe residues caused temporary nitrogen immobilization because microbes were feeding on the carbon-rich material. But after that, the soil began releasing nitrogen steadily, reaching up to 39 kilograms per hectare. Over the season, aloe-treated plants produced 115% more leaves. That is a powerful reminder. Sometimes the best garden food is not the strongest fertilizer, but the material that wakes up soil life. For regular use, blend 1 part aloe gel with 15 to 20 parts water. Apply it every 5 to 7 days when the soil is already slightly damp, especially around vegetables, herbs, fruiting plants, and tired container soil. When you do this, you are feeding the living network beneath the plant. And once you begin to think this way, gardening changes. You stop acting like a mechanic fixing a broken machine, and you become a caretaker of a living ecosystem. Part 4. The ultimate stress reliever. Systemic acquired resistance. And when that ecosystem becomes stronger, your plants are better prepared for stress. Gardens today face conditions that are not always gentle. One week the weather is cool and calm, and the next week the sun is burning at midday. A plant may face drought, cold nights, dry winds, heavy rain, or disease pressure before it can adjust. When a plant is under stress, it is not simply thirsty. Its internal system slows down. Nutrient uptake becomes weaker. Growth pauses. Leaves may wilt, curl, yellow, or drop. And if we respond too aggressively with fertilizer, we may push the plant when it is already struggling. So here's the fascinating question. What if aloe vera could help prepare plants before the stress becomes too severe? Aloe vera naturally contains salicylic acid, a compound related to the active ingredient associated with aspirin. But in plants, salicylic acid plays a different role. It acts like a warning signal. When a plant receives that signal through a gentle aloe spray or root drench, it can begin activating a defense response known as systemic acquired resistance, or SAR. Think of SAR as the plant's internal alarm system. It does not make the plant invincible, but it helps the plant become more alert and capable of responding. This process encourages defensive proteins and protective compounds before pests, heat, drought, or disease can cause serious damage. With stronger systemic resistance, plants may recover better from heat, cold, temporary drought, pathogen pressure, and difficult soil conditions. Aloe extract has also been shown to influence plant defense-related genes, including genes connected with protective compounds such as chalcone synthase. So when your garden has been hit by intense heat, around 35 degrees Celsius, or about 95 degrees Fahrenheit, or when a plant has wilted from short water shortage, a diluted aloe solution can act like a botanical comfort drink. Mix 1 part aloe with 15 to 20 parts water, then use it as a light drench or foliar spray. You are helping the plant return to rhythm. You are not rescuing it with force. You are sharing the resilience of a desert survivor with the more fragile plants in your garden. Part 5. Nature's Bug Repellent, the Power of the Peel and Aloe. Now let's talk about the problem that tests every gardener's patience. Pests. Aphids on shoots, whiteflies under leaves, fungal spots after humid weather, and root rot below the soil. This is when many gardeners feel pushed toward chemical sprays. But before we do that, look again at the aloe leaf. We have focused on the clear inner gel, but aloe vera is not only gel. Around it is the tough green rind, and just beneath the skin is the bitter yellow latex. That sap may look unpleasant, but in nature, bitterness often means protection. Aloe latex contains anthraquinones, especially aloin and aloe-emodin. These compounds help protect aloe from insects, grazing animals, and microbial attack. In simple words, aloe carries its own defensive shield. When researchers studied dried aloe vera peels, they found more than 20 compounds with insecticidal and antibacterial properties. They also identified octocosane, known for mosquitocidal activity. So the part many people throw away may actually be useful. This is why a whole leaf aloe spray can be valuable when used carefully. Blend the entire leaf, including skin and yellow sap, then dilute it with water at about 1 part aloe to 20 or 30 parts water. Sprayed lightly over foliage, it creates a natural protective coating. The bitter aloin can make leaves less appealing to aphids, whiteflies, and other sap-sucking insects. And aloe's protection does not stop with insects. It also contains natural antiseptic agents such as lupiol, salicylic acid, cinnamonic acid, phenols, and sulfur. Whole leaf aloe extract has been shown to inhibit certain harmful fungal pathogens by up to 35%, supporting plants against powdery mildew, leaf rust, and root rot. So you do not need to poison your garden to protect it. Sometimes, you need to borrow the armor of a plant that has spent thousands of years learning how to defend itself. Part 6. The Surfactant Secret, Making Everything Work Better. And once we understand aloe as a protector, there is one more quiet skill that makes it even more useful. Have you ever sprayed garlic water, compost tea, neem water, or another organic remedy on cabbage, kale, citrus, or glossy houseplant leaves, only to watch the liquid bead up and roll away? That happens because many leaves have waxy surfaces, and plain water does not always spread evenly across them. Here, aloe vera performs one of its most overlooked roles. It acts as a natural surfactant. Aloe gel contains saponins, naturally soapy compounds that help reduce the surface tension of water. In simple terms, they help water spread instead of forming droplets. When you add a small splash of fresh aloe blend or a teaspoon of aloe powder to an organic spray or compost tea, the liquid coats the leaves more evenly and clings for longer. Aloe becomes a carrier that helps your natural remedies make better contact with the plant. This also works in the soil. When a pot or garden bed becomes extremely dry, the soil can turn hydrophobic. Water sits on top, runs down the sides, or escapes before the roots receive enough moisture. A light aloe root drench helps break that tension, allowing water to move deeper into the root zone. So aloe vera does not only do its own job. It helps water, compost tea, mild pest sprays, and other natural treatments spread, stick, soak in, and work more effectively. Part 7. From Waste to Gold, Korean Natural Farming and FPJ. So now that we understand why aloe vera is so powerful, let's move into the practical part. How do we capture that strength and make it useful for the garden again and again? For quick use, you can absolutely blend fresh aloe leaves with water. That is perfect when a seedling is stressed, when a plant needs a root drench, or when you want a simple spray for the same week. But fresh aloe breaks down quickly, and even in the refrigerator, it only stays useful for a short time. That is why many natural farmers turn to Korean natural farming, often called KNF, and one of its most useful preparations, fermented plant juice, or FPJ. This method takes the living qualities of a plant and pulls them into a concentrated liquid that can be stored and diluted for future use. With aloe vera, the process is simple but powerful. Harvest a few thick, mature leaves early in the morning when the plant is full of moisture and energy. Do not wash them, because the surface carries wild yeasts and beneficial bacteria that help begin fermentation. Chop the whole leaf into small pieces, including the rind, gel, and yellow sap. Then weigh the chopped aloe and mix it with the same weight of organic brown sugar. The sugar is not just sweetness, it creates osmotic pressure, drawing enzymes, minerals, plant hormones, polysaccharides, saponins, and protective compounds out of the aloe cells without heat or damage. Pack the mixture into a clean glass jar or clay pot, filling it only about 2/3 full so the fermentation has room to breathe. Cover the top with a breathable cloth, keep it in a dark place, and let nature work slowly. After 7 to 14 days, the sugar and wild microbes will transform the chopped leaves into a dark, sweet-smelling, probiotic-rich liquid. Strain out the solids, and what remains is your aloe vera. A living concentrate made from one of the most resilient plants on Earth. And because it is so concentrated, you do not need much. Dilute it at 1 part FPJ to 500 parts water, or even 1 to 1,000. That is only about 4 to 8 milliliters per gallon of water. A tiny amount can become liters and liters of gentle, root-supporting, soil-feeding, plant-strengthening liquid. Think about that for a moment. One aloe plant, a little brown sugar, and time. From something many people treat as a simple houseplant, you can create a natural garden input that supports soil life, plant recovery, and long-term resilience. Conclusion: gardening with nature, not against it. My friends, this is the lesson aloe vera leaves us with. The modern gardening world often makes us feel that nature is incomplete. If the leaves yellow, buy a stronger fertilizer. If pests appear, buy a stronger spray. If the soil becomes weak, add another product and hope the garden responds. But aloe vera shows us a different way. It reminds us that the garden is not a machine to be forced into performance. It is a living relationship. When we care for the soil, protect the roots, feed the microbes, and help plants handle stress naturally, we are not just growing bigger leaves or better harvests. We are rebuilding balance. Inside one aloe vera plant, we find polysaccharides that support soil structure, natural growth compounds that help roots recover, salicylic acid that strengthens plant defenses, anthraquinones that discourage pests, and saponins that help water and organic remedies spread more effectively. So if you have an aloe vera plant near your window, beside your kitchen, or in a forgotten pot outside, look at it differently today. It is not just decoration. It is a small biological factory, a natural pharmacy, and a quiet partner for your garden. Thank you for joining me here on Earthly Delights. If this changed the way you see aloe vera, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with another gardener who wants to grow with nature, not against it. Until next time, keep your hands in the soil, keep learning from the plants, and keep growing beautifully.